Hello, welcome back. Okay, now this is our third segment, and I have one student here sitting opposite me, and his name is Pedro. Pedro, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, listen, we're going to work on something specific. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to work on there is, there are, there was, there were, there will be, there should be, but probably for the moment, there should be. Debería haber más sillas aquí, en mi opinión. Debería haber menos luces aquí, porque me deslumbran. They're very bright, and they're shining in my eyes. There should be fewer lights in this television studio, in my opinion, but the experts tell me, no, that they need more light. Can you see me okay? Is there enough light in this room? There should be or there shouldn't be. Debería haber. Okay? So Pedro, ask me if there should be more parking garages in Spain, in my opinion.
Should there more parking garages places in Spain?
¿Y el verbo?
Should there be more places?
Parking garages.
Parking garages available.
In Spain?
In Spain?
Yes, there should. There should be more. Ask me if there are a lot of parking garages in Spain.
Are there a lot of parking garages in Spain?
Yes, there are. Ask me if there were a lot of parking garages in Spain when I came here.
Were there a lot of parking garages in Spain when you came here?
Not so many. Okay. There are a lot more now. And ask me if there should be more, in my opinion.
Should there be more, in your opinion?
Yes, there should be more, but every year there are more. Ask me if there are a lot of political scandals in Spain now.
Are there a lot of political scandals in Spain now?
No. Political scandals? No, I don't think so. Ask me if there were a lot of political scandals in Spain when I came.
Were there a lot of political scandals when you came to Spain?
No, there weren't. There are always political scandals in every country, but there weren't many when I came. When I came to Spain, I can't remember, it was Matesa. Franco was still alive when I came to Spain. And I can't remember, Sofico, I think, was a political, well, it was a financial scandal. All right, now ask me if there are a lot of politicians in the parliament.
Are there a lot of politicians in the parliament?
Yes, there are. The parliament and the Senate. Probably there are, I don't know, 100, 300 or 400 politicians, members of the parliament and the Senate. Ask me if there should be more, in my opinion.
Should there be more, in your opinion?
No. Ask me if there should be fewer, in my opinion.
Should there be fewer, in your opinion?
Yes, there should. Ask me how many politicians there are in the United States Congress.
How many politicians are there in the United States Congress?
About 500. Ask me if the Americans need 500 representatives in Washington.
Do the Americans need 500 representatives in the American Congress?
Probably. And in Spain, how many members are there in the parliament?
I think 300 and something.
Okay, including the Senate?
No,
Senate?
only the Congress.
Okay, because that's interesting. In Washington, the Congress of the United States has two houses. It's bicameral, like in Spain. It has the House of Representatives, and it has the Senate. Like in Spain, you have the Parlamento y el Senado. And the House of Representatives is direct representation of every area of many areas of each state, small areas, very similar to provincias, okay, in Spain. And of course, the United States is very big, okay? And there are about 400 members in the House of Representatives. Now, the Senate has 100 members, 2 senators from each state. The House of Representatives is proportional to the population of each state. That's 500 people in Washington representing the 50 states. And if it's 400 here in Spain, that's a lot. That's a lot. So there should be fewer politicians in the Parliament and Senate in Spain. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, ask me if there should be, if in my opinion, there should be more emphasis on learning languages in Spain.
Should there be more emphasis on learning English in Spain?
Yes, there should. In Spain or in Spain?
In Spain.
Good. in Spain, in Spain, in Spain. Cuando vas conduciendo a casa hoy, después de este programa, dices in Spain, in Spain, in Spain, in Spain, in Spain. All right? Yes, there should be more emphasis on learning languages, or at least on learning English, in my opinion, than there is right now. Ask me if there is a lot of emphasis now.
Is there a lot of emphasis now?
There's a lot of lip service. We say servicio de labia, means de boquilla. There's a lot of emphasis, and in some cases, in the community of Madrid, steps are being taken, which are good. There's positive movement. But still, in my opinion, there's not enough emphasis. Asked if there was more emphasis on languages when I came here.
Was there more emphasis when you came here?
No, there wasn't. Asked me if there's a lot of emphasis on learning Spanish in the United States.
Is there a lot of interest in the...
No, interest? No, I said emphasis.
Is there a lot of emphasis in the USA
Perdone, in the USA on learning?
On learning Spanish.
Yes, there is. Not pressure, no. But there's a lot of emphasis. Every school in the United States offers Spanish, and it's mandatory to take 2 years of language. So everybody takes 2 years of a foreign language in secondary school and at the university. And usually they choose Spanish. Spanish is very popular. Okay, now ask me if there are too many civil servants in Spain, in my opinion.
Are there too many civil servants in Spain, in your opinion?
In your opinion, yes, there are. But in France too, in England, in America, in Japan, in Argentina, everywhere. The public sector for me is too big in every country. It should be smaller. Now ask me if there should be fewer civil servants.
Should there be fewer civil servants?
Civil
servants?
Yes, there should. Ask me if I think there should be more hospitals in Spain.
Do you think there should be more hospitals in Spain?
I don't really know. I imagine so. Me imagino que sí. But I'm not up to date on the construction of hospitals. Ask me if there were enough hospitals in Spain when I came here.
Were there enough hospitals in Spain when you came here?
No, there weren't. In fact, in Madrid, in the province, the community of Madrid, there were not many hospitals. Basically, the famous hospitals of La Paz, Piramidón, 12 de Octubre, Gregorio Marañón, and not many more. So people who lived in Leganés, Getafe, and the people who lived on the outskirts needed to come to Madrid for hospitalization. Now there are hospitals in most major communities around Madrid. Bedroom communities, ciudades dormitorios, big ones. Okay, bedroom communities. Now, ask me if there's a lot of rainy weather in the north of Spain.
Is there a lot of rainy weather in the north of Spain?
Yes, there is. It's a relatively wet area. Ask me what area in the United States is the most humid.
What's the most humid area in the United States?
The most humid area in the United States is probably around the Gulf of Mexico. That includes Florida, the south of Alabama and Georgia, the south of Mississippi, Louisiana, where New Orleans is, Katrina area, and the Gulf Coast of Texas. It's very humid, but it's not wet. It doesn't rain more than in some other areas. Ask me what area of the United States receives the most rainfall.
What area of the United States receives the most rainfall?
I think the area of Washington State and Oregon, the equivalent of Galicia in Spain, that area of the United States, north of California and between the northern border of California and Canada, that's the area. Did you see the movie or the television series Twin Peaks?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember the area where it was? It rained a lot in that area. Did you see the movie Oficial y Caballero, An Officer and a Gentleman?
Yes, I did.
That's the same area. It's a beautiful area. It's a temperate climate, a very mild climate, very similar to Galicia. It never gets too cold, or rarely gets cold, but it rains all the time. And it's very green and very beautiful. Well, Galicia is burned, quemado, but normally Galicia is very beautiful. Have you ever been to Galicia?
Yes, I have.
Have you been many times?
No, I haven't.
All right. Ask me how many times I've been there.
How many times have you been there?
3 or 4 times. Okay, 3 or 4 times. Ask me if I'm planning to go there in the near future.
Are you planning to go there in the near future?
Not necessarily, probably not. Now, Ask me if there used to be more farm workers in Spain.
And there used to be.
Did there?
Used to be more farmers in.
Farm workers.
Farm workers in Galicia?
In Spain.
Spain.
Yes, there used to be more farm workers. A farm worker is a person who doesn't own the farm. He works on the farm. Okay? Campesino, bracero or something. He's a farm worker. Ask me if there used to be more secret police in Spain.
Did there used to be more secret police in Spain?
I don't know. Maybe during the Franco regime there was more secret police, but I don't know. Are there any secret police now in Spain?
Yes.
There are.
There are.
Do you think there are more secret police now than there used to be?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Are there more traffic problems now in Spain than there used to be?
Yes, there are.
Ask me if I think there are more traffic problems now than there used to be.
Do you think there are more traffic problems now than there used to be?
¿Entiendes la estructura?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm older than you. Let's see, I came in 1972. How old were you in 1972?
I was 8 years old.
8 years old, okay. And I remember in the 70s, mid-70s, late 70s, there were a lot of traffic problems because there were very few bridges and underpasses. Overpass, underpass. And there were very few improvements in it. So there were fewer cars. There were fewer cars. But there were a lot of traffic problems, okay? I don't know. Are there more desktop computers now than there used to be?
Yes, there are.
Is there a computer on practically every desk in Spain?
Yes, there is.
All right. Do you remember when there weren't?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How old were you when you started working?
I was 25.
Good. Do you remember your first desk?
Yes, I can.
Did you have a computer on the desk?
Yes, I did.
Was it your computer or did you share it with other people?
I shared it.
I
shared it.
Okay. I shared it.
Shared it.
Shared it.
Shared
Okay,
it.
you shared it. How many people did you share it with?
3 of us.
3 of us use the computer. Okay, fine. Question, are there more children now in Spain than there used to be? Or did there used to be more children?
There used to be more children.
Yeah. Are there more immigrants or fewer immigrants now than there used to be?
There are more immigrants
Than there used to be.
than there used to be. Yes.
So there used to be fewer immigrants.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Ask me if there are more donkeys now than there used to be.
Are
there?
Are there more donkeys now than there used to be?
No, there used to be more donkeys in Spain. There used to be. Antes había mucho más burros y mulas, etc. in Spain. There used to be more. They are disappearing, going extinct. Ask me if there are more foreign football players in Spain than there used to be.
Are there more football players than...
Foreign football players.
Foreign. Are there more foreign football players than there used to be?
Yes, of course. There are many foreign football players in Spain now. Too many, perhaps. There used to be only 2 per team, I think. Do you remember?
No, I can't.
Are you a football fan?
Yes, I am.
Do you remember in the 70s, the policy?
No, I don't.
I think the policy was 2 foreign football players per team was the maximum allowed. And I remember sometimes the team nationalized a player in order to have a 3rd person. I remember, I think the Argentine or Mexican, Roberto Martinez for Real Madrid, was nationalized Spanish. Okay, so are there more or fewer foreign banks in Spain now than there used to be?
There are more foreign banks now than there used to be.
Yes. Is there more snow or less snow than there used to be?
There is less snow than there used to be.
Are there more or fewer political prisoners now than there used to be?
There are less...
Fewer.
Fewer political prisoners now than there used to be.
Yes. Yeah, really there aren't any now. Are there more or fewer flies in Spain than there used to be?
There are fewer flies now than there used to be.
You think so?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Completely sure.
Yes. How do you know?
Because I can notice less flies.
Fewer.
Fewer flies.
Los plurales, okay. More es universal. Para contables y incontables, plural, singular. More microphones, more water. Okay. Less water, porque es singular, fewer microphones. Pero no te preocupes. Si dices less, no pasa nada.
No.
Eso es un error que se permite, porque incluso los lingüistas lo cometen. Less people se oye más que fewer people, pero lo correcto es fewer people. Okay. Hay menos gente en Barcelona que en Madrid. There are fewer people in the city of Barcelona than in the city of Madrid. There are fewer people in Portugal than in Spain. There are fewer people in Texas than in Germany. Okay, pero se dice less people. And native speakers don't know they're making a mistake, but it's a mistake. Less time, less energy, less water, less flour. Translate less flour.
Menos harina.
Okay. And fewer flowers?
Menos flores.
Okay. Okay. Now, ask me if there's any flour in my house.
Is there any flour in your house?
Yes, in the kitchen. Ask me if there are any flowers in my house.
Are there any flowers in your house?
Yes, in the living room and dining room. Okay, but there isn't any flour in the dining room. Now, ask me if there's more office construction now than there used to be.
Is there more office construction now than there used to be?
Well, it depends on your definition of used to be. Now there's less office construction than 1 year ago. But there's more than 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Okay, so there's more office construction now, in general, than there used to be. Ask me if, well, in your opinion, are there more or fewer bullfighters like Manolete than there used to be?
I think there are fewer
bullfighters
than there used to be.
Like Manolete?
Like Manolete, yes.
Manolete, okay. Is there more interest or less interest now in bullfighting than there used to be?
I think there is less interest in bullfighting now than there used to be.
So there used to be more interest?
I think so.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is there more interest in football now than there used to be, or is it the same?
I think it's the same.
It's the same. Okay. Is there more bureaucracy than there used to be, or less bureaucracy now than there used to be in Spain?
I think there is more bureaucracy now than there used to be.
Yeah. Ask me if there's more bureaucracy in Washington than there used to be. Is there?
Is there more bureaucracy now in Washington than there used to be?
I don't know. I think it's probably about the same. Maybe a little bit more. It's very difficult to reduce bureaucracy. It's a monster that grows, okay? And ask me if there are more general strikes now in Spain than there used to be.
Are there more general strikes now than there used to be?
No. There used to be a lot of general strikes in Spain. Mm-hmm. Now there are very few. Now it's not very common. Once every 3 years, once every 5 years, you have a general strike. Okay? Now ask me if there are more modern appliances now than there used to be.
Modern appliances?
Yes. When you go into your kitchen, you have a refrigerator, a freezer, a dishwasher, a washing machine, a dryer, a mixer. You have a lot of appliances. Mm-hmm. And if you go to this department store, there's one entire floor or an entire section or department devoted to kitchen appliances or home appliances. Cualquier electrodoméstico o menaje, dentro del menaje de hogar, you have electrodomésticos. These are kitchen appliances or home appliances. And here I say modernos electrodomésticos, modern appliances. Now, in Spain, are there more modern appliances than there used to be?
Are there more modern appliances now in Spain than there used to be?
Yes, there are. I was asking you the question, but I'll answer. Yes, there's.
Sorry.
Is there more snow or less snow in Spain than there used to be?
And there is less snow than there used to be.
There used to be.
There used to be.
Okay. Now, are there more lawyers or fewer lawyers than there used to be?
There are more lawyers than there used to be.
Yes. Yes. Is there more economic growth or less economic growth than there used to be?
There is more economic growth than there used to be.
Yeah. Yes, it's true. All right. Is there more respect for other people now than there used to be, or is there less respect for other people now, in general?
It's a difficult question. There is less respect now than there used to be.
Is there more political corruption in the world or less than there used to be?
There is more political corruption now than there used to be.
Yeah, you think so. There's more. You think
More.
there's more political corruption now than there used to be?
Yes, because there are more politicians now.
You don't trust politicians.
Nah.
Would you like to be a politician?
No, I wouldn't.
Ask me.
Would you like to be a politician?
No, I wouldn't. Ask me if I would be a politician if the conditions were right.
Would you be a politician if
the
the conditions were right?
Yes, I would. Ask me what conditions those would be.
What conditions those what condition would that be?
No, es plural.
Would those be?
Good, good. Ask me what conditions those would be.
What conditions those would those be?
Good. That I could have complete power without the need to compromise or to negotiate. No, and that's not realistic. That's not really. I would be a dictator, okay? And ask me if there is more strange weather now in Spain than there used to be.
Is there more strange weather now than there used to be?
Yes. Yes and no. The world, the history is full of strange weather, strange meteorological phenomena. I really don't know. I think the geologists, yes, but I think the meteorologists and certain scientists really don't know. There's not enough information or data and statistics from past to be able to make a true comparison on the climate change. I don't think there's enough. Ask me if there are more student protests now than there used to be.
Are there more
Students.
student protests than there used to be?
No. There aren't as many student protests now than there used to be. If we go back to the 1960s and early 1970s, of course, there were a lot of student protests. Ask me if there is more leisure time in Spain now than there used to be.
Is there more leisure time now than there used to be?
Yes. Yes, in general, I think so. Very few people work on Saturdays now. And when I came to Spain, quite a few people worked on Saturdays. How do you say leisure time in Britain?
Leisure time in British English?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Leisure.
Leisure?
Leisure. The pronunciation changes in Britain. Leisure is tiempo de ocio. Leisure. Leisure. And in America, leisure. Okay. Ask me if there's more leisure time in the States now than there used to be.
Is there more leisure time now in the United States than there used to be?
I don't know. People work a lot of hours there. And in Spain, too. People work long hours. And ask me if there are more hospitals in the United States now than there used to be.
Are there more hospitals now in the United States than there used to be?
I think so, yeah. Ask me if there are more TV channels now in Spain than there used to be.
Are there more TV channels now in Spain than there used to be?
Yeah, a lot more. Ask me how many channels there were when I came to Spain.
How many channels were there when you came to Spain?
1.5. Televisión Española, Channel 1, I think was from about 7 in the morning, I don't remember, until midnight or 1 o'clock. And then the second channel was only a few hours. I can't remember, maybe 6, 7 hours a day. So there were 1.5 channels. And that continued. The second channel, I think, became longer. But there were only 2 channels in Spain for a long time, until about 1990. Okay. Do you remember that?
Yes, the UHF.
UHF channels. Okay. Ask me how much time we have left.
How many time do we have left?
¿Cuántas veces nos quedan?
How many time? How much time
okay.
do we have left?
We have 1 minute left. Okay. Ask me what I'm going to do after this class.
What are you going to do after this class?
I'm going to give another section, another segment of this class, but alone. Okay, so I'm going to stay here and continue teaching my students, okay? Soy un pesado, ¿eh? Voy a insistir en que aprendan inglés. No sé si quieren de verdad, pero voy a insistir a ver si les gano la partida y les convenzo o les obligo a hacerse con mi idioma de una vez para siempre, de una vez por todas, porque es muy difícil hacerlo. It's true, it's not easy, pero me voy a poner pesado. I'm going to become un dolor en el cuello, como si tuvieras tortícolis. Eso es un pesado. in English. I'm going to be a pain in the neck for the next month, next year, forever, if possible. And if I become immortal and live forever, I will be your English teacher forever. Okay, Pedro, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, it's been a real pleasure. I'll be right back, okay? So don't go too far away.